Hi, Geoff Zuber is my name. I run the aerospace practice here at Holocentric. People ask, what is it that Holocentric does and why are our programs so successful where published research shows that the industry average runs at 15 to 1 of unsuccessful programs to successful programs. This presentation is part of a series explaining how Holocentric works with airlines, and I should say with companies and government outside the aerospace sector. In this presentation, I want to highlight some of the main issues we see as repeating patterns all over the world. We work with organisations, airline MROs in this case, to build operational frameworks and business management systems to support the business, your business. We do this not just to successfully complete the transformation programs, including implementation of the MRO software, but for business as usual afterwards. We do this by creating an operating framework, a business management system, most importantly, usable by all personnel in language that they will understand. We see so often expensive and valuable information used to implement the MRO systems left on the shelf after the software goes in. We use the same information after the program as during. We waste nothing. Let's put this into some sort of context. If safety and compliant procedures are so important, why is it that the industry averages for problematic risk controls are put down to procedural breakdown? This slide by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau is reflected all over the world. The issues are not training, equipment or management, it's the inability for personnel to get to the right information in a timely and effective way. Not just the mechanics, but all personnel. So what do we do to change this? Why do our programs run much more successfully and at the same time take procedural breakdown and risk out of activity? Our approach is based on the end point being an integrated business management system, not just implementation of a piece of software. Aviation assumes organisations aspire to be or are high-performance organisations. In fact, the regulations demand it. It could be argued that the airline's primary business is not to fly passengers and freight for fees, but to maintain compliant aircraft, and only then can they fly passengers and freight. Of course, you need to do that and a whole lot more. So what do I mean by a high-performance organisation? It's an organisation where strategies are implemented and executed to satisfy the needs of customers, supported by well-implemented and run processes, procedures and systems. Compliant with the policies and regulations. More can be found about building high-performance organisations on our website. Customers can be internal or external and include, by the way, the regulators. The issue is not that. The issue is complexity, multiple stakeholders, different ways of expressing work, understanding and implementing MRO systems and supporting the business after the MRO implementation. The symptom, of course, and many of you have seen this, is latent over budget, programs frustration with friction in the programs, workforce resistance. The reward for doing it well is a high-performance organisation. So, what are some of the issues we see in the industry adding to this complexity? Increased efficiency. Competition's driving a lot of this. What you did last year is not good enough for this year. What you did this year won't be good enough for next. Organic knowledge. How do you capture this organic knowledge? That's the knowledge that lives in the heads of your people and convert this to organisational knowledge owned by the organisation and available to everybody. This organic knowledge is oftentimes in the head of your older workforce, the baby boomers if you like, and they're also the workforce that are going to retire in the next 5 years. How do you capture that knowledge and then provision it to the organisation in a way that's useful to everybody within the organisation? This organic knowledge, these baby boomers, by the way, are being replaced by Gen X and Gen Y. If you're lucky, you keep these people for 5 years. You've got to get them in, you've got to get them effective, working to the compliant and regulatory way before they go off to the next job. All along the way, regulatory pressures increasing year on year. You know this, nothing I have to say there. All of you are wrestling with ageing and disconnected systems. That's why you're looking at putting in a new MRO system. Throughout all of this, you've got to maintain good practice. No one is going to give you a break whilst you're managing all of this transformation, least of all the regulator. On top of all of that, many of you are also managing fleet turnover, new fleets replacing old fleet. The issues are so numerous and the problem's often so complex that in the absence of a modern high-performance organisation set of tools, they simply become band-aids on the band-aids. By the way, If you think I've missed an important issue in this part of the presentation, I'd be delighted to hear from you, because it's critical that we get this piece right in these major transformation programs. You can find my details at the end of this presentation. Now, in building the operational framework, we use existing frameworks that come with our product to accelerate and build through the phases quickly. The operating framework contained in a model has three key elements: processes tied to policies, use cases, where work instruction level detail, including the MRO supported steps or procedures, are contained. The result is that you create a model of how your people do their work, including manual procedures, automated work or MRO supported steps, and the requirements. The requirements are produced automatically by the operating framework. No more lengthy requirements workshops where the requirements are iterated time and time again and you still get them wrong. Consequently, you end up with test scenarios, MRO software configuration information, training material, change management material created automatically in most cases, or at least largely automatically from the model. Most importantly, regulations are the part of the operating framework that are visible and manageable. You can be assured compliance is excellent because the operating framework will highlight non-compliant procedures automatically. Safety becomes much easier to manage because the operating framework takes away the guesswork. So, how do we achieve this? Using our approach and Holocentric Modeler, a single product with 7 solution areas, we create the operating framework model. Publishing is done using Holocentric Modelpedia, and publishing is to individuals using information based on their job and in a lexicon or in language that they're familiar with. In the next video, I talk more about this in detail.